You want that dream job, dream date, dream life, and dream wife. What do you really need? Is it perfection? Is it peace? Is it ease? Because when marketers define our ideal client, we don't just mean someone who has money. We mean someone who's aligned, who shows up ready to do the work, who gets it, and you get them. So what if we use that same industry clarity to identify your future wife? What if you defined your dream wife not as fantasy, but as someone your faith would recognize? Because contrary to what lonely singles are lamenting, God's not allergic to your standards. He's the one who put them there. When you became one with Christ, his standards became one with you. Let's borrow proven marketing language and aim it at your love life. I've learned from godly men in the Kingdom Singles Brand Collective that y'all want tips, tricks, and tactics. So here goes. We're about to show you how to attract your God-given dream without idolizing your far-fetched fantasy. Buckle in for a few minutes and taste and see the 4-step guide to your dream wife, so you can know exactly what's holding you back and how to finally move forward with fierce determination, peace, and ring-worthy connection. When you know the stage you're in, you can finally stop groping in the dark like a blindfolded prayer warrior and start moving like a man who actually believes God is for you and not against you. He is your ultimate wingman. Do tips, tricks, and tactics work? Yes. Take it from me, they work. But here's part 1 of 2 important disclaimers for every man listening, inspired by 1 Corinthians 10, verse 23 in the Amplified. All things are lawful, that is, morally legitimate, permissible, but not all things are beneficial or advantageous. All things are lawful, but not all things are constructive to character and edifying to spiritual life. Proverbs 4:7 speaks of wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. All right, let's get understanding. Let's say your goal as a business owner is to attract and work with ideal clients, dream clients, clients who pay higher fees, high value clients, clients who pay on time, who honor your value and your worth, clients who take action and achieve results, have honorable standards, and committed to success. But what most people don't realize is that there are 3 critical stages that you have to walk through before you get to the dream stage. You might already be stuck in stage 1, and you won't know why until it's too late. Because by then, you'll be praying for a breakthrough in that situationship God never sent. And don't worry, your 3-day fast is a wise move while you figure out stage 1. And we're about to expose it in 3, 2, 1. Stage 1, desperation. You're not attracting consistent interest. And when someone does show up, you discover you're attracting what you don't want. You're justifying her unbelief as you extending grace. You accept misalignment because you're bored. Or worse, she's friggin' amazing, but you're not attracted to her. What does desperation do? Desperation starts having more conversations, chronically binging apps. Desperation binges networking events, church conferences, and local meetups. Desperation talks to anyone who might be a possible fit. But Rowena, that's not desperation, that's diligence. And isn't it interesting that desperation and diligence have similar packaging? Let's look inside. Desperation is disguised disappointment that got tired of waiting on God. We've all been there, right? Despite how many times we hear, never go to the grocery store when you're hungry, you still go. And your desperation for food makes poor choices that you bring home. You binge and feel remorseful and gross about later. And we're talking about poor choices with food. What about when desperation makes choices for us that we bring home, binge, and feel remorseful and gross about later? Genesis 29 gives us a biblical picture of desperation. Leah kept naming her sons like love would finally follow. She said, "Surely my husband will love me now." But it wasn't until her fourth child that she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." Desperation ended the moment her identity detached from being chosen by a man. Good convo and good chemistry is not confirmation. Green for peace, not performance. If you have to justify her walk more than you witness her fruit, you're not being led, you're hangry. Because desperation is disguised disappointment that's tired of waiting on God. You can say hello to everyone, but your yes is for one. I don't mean the one. I mean exercise wisdom in a few. And by few, let's just say 3. That's a quorum, so there's wisdom there. How many godly women can you get to know honorably and simultaneously without losing track of what you already said to who? More on that in stage 2. Not every godly woman is your dream wife, but she is someone's dream life. So step aside quickly and honorably so he can find her. Desperation dies when you realize God's best won't need convincing. When she's convinced that you're convinced, you have something there. You grow from groping in the dark to grounded in the light. Stage 2, pressure. You've got some interest, but it feels high stakes. Every interaction feels like a test. You're getting leads and maybe even a few that could be a good fit, but it's all hinging on you making your move, feeling the pressure to make it happen. You're afraid to ask vetting questions too soon. What does pressure do? You keep trying to make it light when your heart is actually searching for depth. You might even entertain someone who's not a good fit because you think you need practice with women. And honestly, you like the attention. You feel like if you don't keep her entertained, you'll get ghosted, or worse, friend-zoned. If you're ignoring important conversations like discipleship and sexual integrity, scared she'll disappear, you're the red flag. If she disappears when you mention Jesus, that's not rejection, that's protection. And if every interaction has your nervous system doing backflips, you're not dating, you're high performing or an adrenaline junkie. Don't pick your poison. Pressure leads to performance anxiety and burnout in your desire for marriage and multiplication. In Judges 16, Samson didn't lose his strength when his hair was cut. He lost it when he ignored the blaring red flags for the sake of connection. But it wasn't connection. It was its diabolical cousin, seduction. Delilah's lap sounds sexy, but it's not a place you'll hear God's whisper. A man that's clear in his desire for marriage and multiplication is not afraid to be alone. You're focused, determined, and seeking wisdom with understanding. We think performing under pressure is a good thing, but pressure to perform leads to performance anxiety and burnout. When you stop performing under pressure and start leading with intention, you realize pressure breaks under peace. You weren't called to chase her. You're equipped to pursue her. Your faith-filled determination changes everything about how you show up, and she'll feel it. Stage 3, busy. You're double booked with convos, but can't remember what anyone said or who said it. You want to move in peace, but your attention is scattered. You've got 3 potential wives, but no confirmed prayers. Your phone lights up constantly, but productivity doesn't mean pursuit. you're emotionally multitasking and spiritually foggy. You find yourself overwhelmed with the volume of activity and having difficulty seeing high value because of the high impact busyness. In essence, you're up early and working late. Working weekends, juggling meetings, and emails are piling up, and your follow through is suffering. In this stage, the enemy doesn't need to derail your purpose, he just needs to keep you busy, distracted, and convinced that scrolling and texting is the same thing as leading. So, if hyperproductivity is a perversion of productivity, how do you slow down without letting people and yourself down? The problem isn't a lack of interested leads to follow up with. It's your lack of self-control and discernment. This is where tips, tricks, and tactics work. But remember, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial or constructive to your character. Stage 4, determine. You're grounded, focused, and determined. You're not auditioning, you're assessing. You're attracting a woman who's ready because you are. Picture this. You're leading with consistency, reliability, and peace. The promise is a relationship where you're not the only one carrying the spiritual weight. You have alignment. You're no longer in rooms trying to convince her why marriage is biblical because she's been praying for the same thing. So how do you slow down without letting people and yourself down? Slowing down doesn't make you lazy. It makes you lethal. When you learn to assess before you respond, you shift from being busy to being built, because scrolling isn't leading and constant output isn't obedience. Leadership isn't about being available to everyone. It's about being anchored to your assignment. When your yes is strategic, your presence gets sharper. When your pace is spirit-led, your peace gets louder. And that's when discernment starts attracting what distraction used to block. You're not lonely, you're locked in. You're not juggling, you're choosing. You're not confused, you're focused. In Ruth chapters 3 and 4, Boaz wasn't confused. When Ruth made her intentions clear, he moved with honor, not hesitation. No emotional game of tag, no boasting. He saw her faith and made a move. But I don't want to scare people off. That's the point. Assessment attracts and repels. It communicates you're serious, and the ones who are meant for you will lean in. The goal is to attract your dream wife and repel a nightmare. How do business owners get to stage 4? You can assess past clients and assess who your best ones were. You can analyze who you want to work with and the common traits that you connected with. If you're attracting anyone and everyone, you're people pleasing. Your stage 4 shift is this. You're not trying to impress, you're prayerfully assessing. And in all you're getting, get understanding. You're showing up with confidence and determination. You're attracting the right people and diverting the wrong people. That kind of determination makes the right clients even more excited to say yes. Let's bring this full circle. You want that dream job, dream date, dream life, and dream wife. But what you really want is alignment. A life that's not just impressive, but integrated. She's a woman who doesn't just love God, but walks like she knows she's loved by Him. Turns out, it wasn't a fantasy. It's a preview, and it becomes your reality when you lead with God's standards, not Instagram's distractions. Don't chase algorithms common to man. When you become the answer to your own prayers, surely you'll become an answer to hers. Let's use that copywriting framework: past, problem, agitation, solution. Your problem? You're praying for a wife, but cycling through misfires, red flags, and blurry almost. You've got vision for marriage, but no vetting process. You keep saying yes to attention and calling it connection. Your agitation? You're spiritually exhausted from carrying all the weight and still wondering if you're too much. You're productive, but not fruitful. Scrolling, texting, and calling it pursuit. You're stuck at a stage that feels holy, but leads to nowhere. Your solution? Identify which stage you're in and stop apologizing for wanting more. Slow down strategically. Your peace is a filter, not a flaw. Lead with clarity, not chaos, because your dream wife is watching your pace, not your potential. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man, and God is faithful." The stage you're in isn't weird. The world normalizes dating dysfunction, but you're not called to be common. You're set apart to lead with wisdom, understanding, discipline, and yes, with some good old uncommon sense. Here's part 2 disclaimer for every man listening. Do tips, tricks, and tactics work? Yes. But with great power comes great responsibility. These were Uncle Ben's words in the Spider-Man story, spoken by Uncle Ben to Peter Parker when Peter uses his newly gained powers for personal gain and gets someone hurt as a result. Uncle Ben's wisdom can be attributed to Luke 12, verse 48. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. In episode 1, titled "You Are Single Because," we said, when you know your reason, you can change your season. When you identify the stage you're in, you can change it or keep it. You choose. And remember, you're not single by accident. Your singleness is not happening to you. It's happening for you.